Hello, everyone. This is your girl D, and I am currently waiting on my beautiful sister to come down so that we can talk to you all today about is being a black superwoman a trauma response. Yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. Um, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to the conversation. I'm currently actually looking for the original. I had it pulled up on a different computer. I'm looking for the original post that led to this particular dialogue.
Mhm. What particular dialogue is that, sis?
The one that we're having today.
The trauma? The
Yeah,
trauma.
that one.
Mm.
That one right there.
The trauma.
Most definitely. I have just gone live.
Did you?
Yeah, so, and like I was telling them, I'm just kind of looking for that original post, and I've done a lot of the sharing, but
Yeah.
there's always more to be done.
Always. Hey, y'all.
Yeah, this is one day that your girl is for real working on
Fumes.
fumes.
Yeah.
I mean, like for real fumes. I am excited about this topic, though. I truly, truly am. I am truly excited about it. So, what do you all think? Give us your input. Do you think that it is a trauma response or no?
What do you think?
Well, I want to know what they think before I go into what I think.
Okay.
I want to know what they think before. Here it is. Is this it?
Hmm?
Is this it? I know it's the one with the guy and the female. Is that
I
it?
think that might be it.
No, that's not it.
That one, the TikToks I sent. Okay, so y'all, I'm horrible. I've gotten hooked on doggone TikToks.
Here it is.
Not TikToks, the reels.
Here it is. Here it is.
Oh,
Here it is.
yeah.
I just wanted to open it up so that I could actually share it. High level, please repeat. Just joining.
Hi,
It is good to see you, sir. It's been a
Jamia. Hi,
while.
yes.
It has been a while. It is definitely awesome to see you.
Absolutely.
Well, to
Well,
interact with you.
yes, yes,
So,
yes, yes. So, I'm going to say that, how can it not be? How about
that,
that?
yeah.
How can it not be? And the reason that I will say that, how can it not be? Um, and you know me, I'm just gonna jump in, if you want that as you say. Go
Hmm.
ahead.
No, I'm gonna because when I share it, I'm gonna share it to the actual screen. I just wanted to have it set up.
Okay. So, as far as what I was saying, as far as how could it not be? I think, well, two things. One, I think it's not just. Oh, you want me to go over?
Because half of your face is gone.
I think it is not just a woman thing. I thought it was just a woman thing, but then I got to talking and reading, and I don't think it's just a woman thing. However, the Black Superwoman thing, I think that the anxiety is more chronic. Absolutely. Um, hey, Annette. So, to me, and when I say to me, whenever anytime I say to me, I speak of from experience, from my own personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Is definitely a trauma response. In so much as because you, again, I'm just going to speak from the heart, speak from my experience. In my life, there were people who I honestly felt were supposed to protect me, who were supposed to look out for me, who were supposed to um, help me along the way. They were tasked and obligated, in my mind, um, to do these things. They were, people who, to me, this is what you were supposed to do. Um, and so, in saying that it would, these are what you're supposed to do. I'm not just speaking, as in immediate family, but also, just certain people who were in my life, whether they were boyfriends or, friends or whatever. But it got to a point where I was let down so much. I was left unattended. I was left unprotected. I was left to fend for myself, even when other people had already said that they would do so.
And they say that black women are the least protected.
I can believe that. I can believe and understand that.
And personally, I think that is a direct result of the lies of the angry black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, that's just my. But we'll delve into that a little bit more later. Um, but I want to start by doing a screen share of what actually started this particular topic. Yeah, so I'm getting ready to share a screen with you all. Okay, share screen.
Where'd it go?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
This one. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. Mm, is that the right one?
I don't know.
We're about to find out. We are about to. Nope, that I didn't have it on there yet. Stop sharing that one. And to this
There it
one.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me close that because that's not their business. Uh, wrong one.
How about you? I thought we were in the right one. There.
This is the one that I need to stop sharing that one.
Yeah, and start
And I
sharing
need
that
to
one.
start sharing that one.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll close that one to make sure we've got the right one open. Because yeah, I'm just glad that that one didn't have anything crazy on it. Cause baby,
We have interesting conversations.
uh-huh, with very interesting people from time to time.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, here we go. Let me make sure it's showing on the screen. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Here we go.
know who needs to
Know who
hear
needs to
this,
hear this,
but
but hyper
hyper
independence
independence
is
is the
the
result
result
of
of
Trump.
Trump.
I
I
don't
don't
need
need
anyone,
anyone,
and
and
I'll
I'll
just
just
do it
do it
myself
myself
really
really
means
means
my
my
ability
ability
to
to
trust
trust
has
has
been
been
injured by
injured by
people
people
systemically
systemically
failing
taking me
me and
down.
letting me
You
down.
do need
You do need
people.
people. We
We
all
all
do.
do.
Listen
Listen
again.
again.
I
I
don't
Now,
don't
know
know
who
who
the,
needs
needs
to
to
hear
hear
this,
this,
but
but
hyper
hyper
independence
independence
is
is
the
the
result of
result of
Trump.
Trump.
I
I
don't need
don't need
anyone,
anyone,
and
and
I'll
I'll
just do
just
it
do it
myself
myself
really
really
means
means
my
my
ability to
ability to
trust has
trust
been
has been
injured by
injured by
people
people
systemically
systemically
failing
failing
me
me
and
and
letting me
letting me
down.
down.
You
You
do need
do need
people.
people.
We
We
all
all
do.
do.
Listen
Listen
again.
again.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know
who
who
needs.
needs.
now, for those of you, okay, um, I hope you all were able to hear that
Hmm.
and see that. Were you? Were you all able to hear and see that?
I think so because we have a very interesting question on the screen. But why?
Yeah, but that was up there before I did the screen
Okay.
share.
Kim says
Okay,
yes.
okay. So give us your feedback before we delve into it. Okay, you weren't able to hear it or see. What he said in that was that he feels that you know what um it had feedback, but I could make it out. Oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Hold
Oh,
on.
you know what? Probably from the phone.
Yeah, it may have been from the phone. Hold on. Are we culturally conditioned to think how we do? That was one of the questions I put on the table when I did the initial post. Ask, Bay, really? Um, but the question that I put on the table was, have we been trained? And kind of what he was saying, are we culturally conditioned to think the way that we do? But I'm gonna try to share this one more time because unfortunately it was giving, like she said, giving feedback or what have you. So my apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna let it go through a few times. Here we go.
Needs to hear this, but hyper independence is the result of Trump. I
I
don't
don't
need
need
anyone,
anyone,
and
and
I'll
I'll
just
just
do
do
it
it
myself.
myself really
Really
means
means
my
my
ability
ability
to
to trust
trust
has
has
been
been
injured by
injured by
people
people
systemically
systemically
failing
failing
me
me
and
and
letting
letting
me
me
down.
down.
You
You
do
do
need
need
people.
people.
We
We
all
all
do.
do.
Listen
Listen
again.
again.
I don't
I
know
don't
who
know who
needs to
needs to
hear
hear
this,
this, but
but
hyper
hyper
independence
independence
is the
is the
result of
result of
Trump. I
Trump.
don't
I
need
don't need
anyone,
anyone, and
and
I'll
I'll
just do
just
it
do it
myself.
myself really
Really
means
means
my
my
ability to
ability to
trust
trust
has
has
been
been
injured
injured
by
by
people
people
systemically
systemically
and letting
failing
me
me and
down.
letting me
You
down.
do need
You do
people.
need people.
We
We
all
all
do.
do. Listen
Listen
again.
again.
One last
I don't
time.
know who needs to hear this,
But
but
hyper
hyper
independence
independence is
is
all.
the result of Trump.
I
I don't
don't
need
need
anyone,
anyone,
and
and
I'll
I'll
just
just do it
do it
myself really
myself.
means
Really
my
means
ability to trust
trust
has
has
been
been
injured
injured
by
by
people
people
systemically
systemically
failing
failing
me
me
and
and
letting
letting
me
me
down.
down. You do need people. We all do. Listen again.
Okay. Now he said that hyperindependence is the result of Trump, believing that we don't need people, but that's not true. We all need people.
Hmm.
Now, you and I've kind of had conversations that kind of go back and forth, that kind of works both sides of that.
You and I have kind of had conversations. I think that you didn't even know at the time. Hey, Kiona, that you didn't even understand at the time. So y'all forgive me. I guess I'm gonna start. But I'm just gonna delve in. So D and G came to my rescue. And I say my rescue. I had my child was turning 16 years old. Love her to death, but I was doing the single mama thing with a 16-year-old. Um, and trying to, just really be everything. Um, and because of the experiences that I had when I was young, I was very much I got this. I cannot depend on others. So because others have failed me, like I said, have others failed you? It's because others have failed me. So when there were times when I needed to have been protected, when I needed to have been believed, when I needed someone to have heard my voice and they did not. And also, when I needed someone to have my back and they said they did, but they did not. Um, so because of that, when I say it was me and baby girl, it was me and the Princess 5150. At one point in time, I was working in a bar. Um, I was cooking a bar because I needed diaper money. Like there was no child support, there was no support from anyone on that side. It was me and baby girl. And even though, my parents at that time, because we had just moved back to Indiana, so my parents did provide a roof, over my head. But I don't have one of those mamas where, oh, you can drop the babies off for the weekend. My mother is one of those. I raised mine. That's yours. And so again, because there were so many situations where I personally felt that I was not covered until before, so I guess like right before you came along, I have a very, very dear friend, Rachel. And Rachel and Tim have been amazing through the years. Um, and I think the Sweet 16 would not have happened without Rachel and Tim, but also without you. Yeah, without you and G. There was so much that happened. What little support, and that goes back to someone saying that they had your back and that they were going to do something for you, because it wasn't even something that they were doing for me. It was supposed to be something they were doing for my daughter. Um, and at the last minute, they decided because I wasn't doing it the way that they wanted it done, that they were no longer going to offer their support and their assistance with what was going on. So that, for me, that just reinforced the whole I'm in this, I'm in this by myself. And when I say by myself, I don't mean just like by myself, there's nobody else. I meant as far as the guidance of my daughter, as far as the caring for, the providing for, and all of that of my daughter, that was on me. And I did not have healthy relationships because I would not trust anyone to be in my home or to be in my life in that way, because I had to look out for and I had to protect my child. So it was always about, I always had to protect her. So when you and G came along, that was like the first time somebody, especially a man, had been in that house like overnight for like more than like a night. And if they had been in the house overnight, it was one of those nights where we didn't sleep. We sat up, we drank, we talked, whatever, but you wasn't sleeping. I was not going to go to sleep with a man in my house. It wasn't going to happen.
Now let's do this. Let's first delve into trauma.
Okay.
The definition of trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. Longer term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea.
Mm-hmm.
Then, and I'm going to go to Kiana and Kimberly's comments, but I also looked up the definition of hyper independent.
Mm-hmm.
And it said the lack of ability to ask for help is synonymous with hyper independence. The consequences of hyper independence in a work/school setting could lead to social isolation, which, when chronic, can lead to many other physical and mental illnesses. And that's a topic all by itself.
Right.
But as far as like that isolation and kind of that keeping
everyone at bay.
Right. Because the people that were supposed to protect me didn't protect me.
Didn't.
So I'm not gonna put myself in a position to be let down again.
Yeah. And I also wasn't going to put her in a position to have lived through the trauma and the experiences and the letdown that I went through. So, people who've known me for a long time, have just been like, you've always been this really strong, really da 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 person. And as far as asking for help, and people are, will say, oh, we're conditioned not to ask for help. We're just so we've been taught, we've been raised, this and that and the other, not to ask for help. When I asked for help, it ended up doing more damage. So I stopped asking. And I got to a mentality of, I will figure it out and I will do it on my own. So when I say to you all, before you all came, as you know, it was me and baby girl. It was us against the world. You saw one, you saw the other, and people would just be like, "Oh, why is she always with you? Where am I gonna leave her? Who am I leave her with? Not you." She'd be like, "Mama, I'm gonna go. Can I go spend the night over so and so's house? I don't know them people. They can come over here. Y'all can have a slumber party." I became the damn Kool-Aid mama because I was not getting ready to just trust her at somebody else's house because I didn't know those people in that house. I didn't know who was
And
coming
you
and going.
did say that.
I didn't know who was coming and going in those people's houses.
Yeah.
She wasn't going. And if she did go, you better believe I was sitting up in them people's house for the longest time, getting to know them. Like we had whole interactions long before she was able to stay over somebody's house. Wasn't going.
Yeah.
Wasn't going.
And Kiana has actually put it on the table as well. Hyperindependence is something I feel I have caused myself to suffer from at times. When anything is hyperly done, it is a showcase of unbalance for me. There are times for self, and I don't have anything against the ones that I'm apart from. Balance is the key. Knowing yourself is the key. And knowing your seasons is the key. Knowing that we are all each other's key at the right timing is key for me. She said a mouthful. And Kimberly said, and sometimes we are too prideful to ask for help and determined to do it ourselves. We tend to get overwhelmed. Now that part is me.
Yeah.
I will run myself into the ground before I ask someone to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Before I ask, and for me, it's kind of the same thing that you said, because when I did ask for help,
caused more damage than good.
Well, it was called, you said okay, but then you didn't come through. So because you didn't come through, the next time I needed you, and it's not necessarily monetary.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes it's just like, do you have now I know you got a truck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to put gas in your vehicle. I'm willing to pay you for your time. I just need a couch move. I'm just throwing that out there as, an example. I just need a couch move from point A to point B. I'm going to cover your gas and I'm going to pay you for your time.
Mm-hmm.
I just need you to drive your vehicle for me when you have time. I'm not even putting you on a timetable as to when it has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, D, I got you, I got you, I got you, I got you. But then when the time comes that you set,
yes,
and you don't show,
you would do it.
You don't answer the phone. You are MIA. You don't ever have to worry about D calling on you for anything. I don't give a happy ham sandwich if I gotta put something on my back.
Yeah.
I will lose it or it will go on the side of the road before I ever ask you for help again.
I've sat on the side of the road with her during a thunderstorm because my tire was flat. AAA was like, oh, it'll be a couple hours. And I called a friend who, oh, girl, you know I love you. I'll do anything in the world for you. Da 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 da. Now, mind you, I was less than 10 minutes from that person's house. Oh, yeah, I'll be there in just a few minutes. We sat on that side of the road for 3 hours until AAA came. But you just told
Wow.
me, I love you. I do anything for you. You and baby girl, oh yeah, I got you. I got you.
So it kind of goes back to, so yeah, part of us have been somewhat conditioned.
Yeah.
So we have been somewhat conditioned for that. It kind of goes down to which one of the phones is this on? It must be on the other one. Like my original post, when we put up the post about the show, and the images is the images is just the images that were there's like the 7 things the strong black woman may need to hear today.
Hmm.
One, sis, you don't have to be strong any longer. It is not your job to save the world. Well, basically, it's saying it's not your job to save everyone, especially when you need saving.
Yeah.
I was just paraphrasing. You don't have to struggle or suffer before you
You
experience
experience happiness.
happiness. Vulnerability is not a weakness. Allow yourself to feel those emotions. You're not a punching bag, and you don't have to take everything thrown at you. You deserve support, and you deserve to heal too. Allow yourself to be human.
So, we talk about, love, and we talk about our partners, and we talk about, our spouses and significant others, and the changes that they've made in our lives, and how we have to learn to love ourselves fully before we could, love our partners fully and accept our partners fully, and things of that nature. And it is always an eros relationship. But I'm going to tell you that those seven that you went through, you, Rachel, Pam, Maria, Barbara, you, 5 women, and none of those are eros relationships, but all
Mm-mm.
of you are my sisters. But you,
Mhm.
5 women, are who made that click for me, who made that difference for me and in my life, because I was Captain Saberho. I was always on call to save somebody from something. Um, I took on the challenges of the world on my own. I fought for every underdog I ever came across. Um, and I
And
spent
sacrificed your
so much.
health
I
as a
did. Oh, my
as a
health, my health,
result.
my health. But I poured so much into trying to save everybody else and trying to make sure everybody else felt worthy. That, and somebody was just like, so why don't you feel like you're worthy of everything that you put out for everyone else? And when I tell you that was probably one of the most profound, and I think Barbara was the one who said that to me. Um, that was one of those. What did you just say to me? Like I felt like I had been like offended, like I had been hit.
That was a thoke punch.
That was a thunk punch. It was one of those. What did you just shape your mouth to say to me? What did you say? But
But it
that was.
made you reflect.
It did. It
Now
did.
that goes into this
Absolutely.
this
Absolutely.
the list that, where it says start seeing emotions as messengers rather than disruptions. And here's some examples of that. The word is overwhelm. And you're right, Beatrice, she does.
As do you.
Yes, she does. It says the first one that I'm going to cover is the word overwhelm. It says we've lost sight of our priorities and boundaries and need to realign with what matters most.
Yeah.
Now that is a emotion. All of these things I'm going to name off are emotions, but I want you to listen to how we need to view those emotions versus the way we normally, because we always view them in a negative sense.
Yeah, I do.
When we become overwhelmed, it's like, oh, I can't, it's like, okay, yeah, we're overwhelmed because we've lost sight of our priorities and boundaries. See, a lot of people have fallen off in my life because I set up boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, so the only reason that you gave a damn was because of what I was doing for you, or the only time I heard from you was when you wanted something for me. And it hurt.
Yeah.
Initially.
That part.
But when I realized, and my husband had been telling me and telling me and telling me and telling me, from the time we were in Mississippi, to pay attention to those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, 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 no. And I'm going to bat for my people. No. Say no. That's all he said was, say no.
Just once. Say no.
Say no.
And watch what happens.
And it hurt me to my core.
Mm-hmm.
But it helped me to see the truth for what it was.
Right.
It's like it's like I'm learning how to embrace my emotions even when I don't like how they feel. That part.
Okay. So I think that's one of the things when you're always after me. You're just like, it's an emotion. It's not a bad thing. It's not. You can have those and it not be a bad thing. And I'm just like, I don't have time. I can't be processed. I ain't got time. Be sitting up here and be all up in my feelings and crying and
it's like
whining.
That you don't have to be. You're entitled to feel the way you feel.
Right.
Period. The end.
Yeah. But it goes back to the
what you've been through, the trauma.
Well, yeah, and just seeing emotions as what did it say? Seeing it as a message, a message or a messenger, as opposed to a detractor.
Right. Now, see, the next emotion is anger.
Oh yeah, I'm good with that one.
It says anger. That's the emotion. Mm-hmm. But the message that we need to see and hear is we're not being heard or have been violated in a way that warrants our attention or protection. So when those things are not in place, it's okay to be upset. Yeah. And it's okay to say, you know what, you don't have to worry about me ever asking you to help with anything else ever again in life. It's okay. Thank you for showing me who you are. Thank you for showing me that I cannot depend on you. Because when life or death situations come up, I know to make sure that I skip your number when I'm reaching out and I need to try to get the necessary help. Whether it is, I need you, I got a flat on the side of the road. I know to skip your number. I'll get a response quicker by putting a Facebook post up and say, look, anybody in this area, because I need help.
Yeah.
The next emotion that and the reason we're going through these is because these are things that we, as humans, not just women, but these are things that we as black women are often, you know, told are negative things about us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the next one is frustration. It's like we're hitting obstacles that may need a new approach or new way of thinking. It's not necessarily that the situation is unsolvable,
Mm-hmm.
but our method to get it taken care of may not be the most effective.
Mm-hmm.
So we may need to reroute how we get from point A to point B. It's
Okay.
like, see, I still love that statement. It's like, well, okay. Um, so it's like frustrating. We're hitting obstacles that need a new approach or new way of thinking. The next one. This is something that counter whether we're in a relationship, whether we are single, whether we are, as we said last week, the black sheep of the family.
Ooh.
Loneliness. Loneliness. Lately, we have been lacking the human connection we were made for. Made for. So that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have that connection with our family,
Mm.
well, our blood, because we made that distinction last week. We don't necessarily have to have that connection with our blood
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many of you who have become well, you've been my family since day one, basically, since the day we encountered each other. Um, but there are others who had, like Beatrice. Beatrice has become my family.
Mm-hmm.
We started out as friends. We became family. Friends. Look,
I remember that one.
Friends
Family.
who are just like family.
Yep.
But at this point, that's my big sister. That's my
Yeah.
elder sister. That's
Yep.
that's family.
Yep.
You
Absolutely.
know, same thing with Annette, Pam, Michelle. These are people, Barb, Maria, these
Mm-hmm.
are family.
Yeah.
And so that human connection, okay, now what is she saying about the frustration and anger go hand in hand, and wisdom, time, or good counsel is needed to decipher which is which. That part. And I think I am so grateful for my circle of life and love because there have been times where I have been just overwhelmed,
Yeah.
frustrated,
Yeah.
angry, just over the top, just at my wits' end, depressed,
Yeah.
just dealing with all of these different emotions at the same time. And each part of my circle of life and love fed a different part of my being, my soul,
Yeah.
and gave me what I needed to heal, to
Mm-hmm.
become whole again,
Yeah.
to start to love me again enough that I was able to learn how to more effectively love the people that I genuinely love. You know, and it gave me a clearer understanding of that statement. You can't really fully and completely love others
So you love
till you learn how to love yourself. Now you can show love,
all day long.
but when you fully learn how to say, you know what, I am worthy of everything that I'm giving everybody else, dag nabbit, I am worthy of that.
I am. I am worthy of the love
I
and
am.
support
I am.
that I put out for myself.
Exactamundo.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start telling ourselves that, when we start to preach that to others, especially our young people, to the point where it becomes innately a part of their way of thinking,
Yes.
it will make all the difference in the world with their upbringing as they are becoming adults. I mean, we don't have to teach kids how to be kids because we are teaching them how to become adults. Kids are going to be kids
Mm-hmm.
because that's who they are.
Absolutely.
But we're teaching them how to become a productive citizen, how to become an adult that is worthy of other people's space and time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? The things that I absolutely love
What?
that we feed into in these children that we are that that are a part of our villages, and that are a part of our circle of life and love.
Mm-hmm.
We feed into these children and we impart that into these children
Mm-hmm.
because I love, yeah, I love my baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows this. There are things because of how I raised her and because of the trauma that I went through. So it caused me to be, a certain way with her. But there are things that the rest of you have fed into her that I see now, that I see her displaying now.
Hmm.
Um, because there were things that, mama is not going to teach you how to be a good partner to your spouse, how to stand up for your spouse, how to stand by your spouse, even when you don't like them and they get on your nerves, and even when your sister wants to fight them. I couldn't teach her that. And I couldn't teach her that because, I was so hyper focused on protecting her that I didn't allow myself to have those bonds. So by not allowing myself to have those bonds, it wasn't something that I could show her. It wasn't something that I could teach her. Um, so then there are the Marias, the Barbaras, the you, the Rachels, who have said, "This is my husband."
Yeah, there are days I want to throw a lace front on him, glue it down, and drag him by the head. Yeah, there are days like that.
But this is my husband, and this is who I've chosen to stand by.
So I'm gonna make sure he eats.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure that
because I tell you all the time, you'll go by. This folk get to pissing me off. I'll be like,
Yep. But Kiana said, even in that, I had to realize that the cause of parting from someone is still nothing against a person. It is a self safety of soul and mind, protecting the
Ooh.
energy I need to fulfill the things I was placed here to do. So, in peace, I'm fine with access denied to parts of that person's walking ground. Likewise, in peace, there are part of my garden you may not enter, but that doesn't mean that I can't send you my blessings as you are on your way, passing by.
Woo.
And look, and I'm gonna put that back up there again.
Yes.
Kiana, you are so wise. And then Pam said, I mean, it's like be intentional with self-love. And Kiana showing gratitude. I love her spirit.
Always.
And it's like much peace and appreciation, the knowledge of my elder queens.
Well, sister, but you share knowledge and wisdom
All
with us
the time.
all the time.
Right.
All the time.
Now, the next one. The next statement is like every emotion exists to serve a purpose. Even the negative feeling ones point us back to our basic needs. It is up to us to pause long enough to pay attention. It's up to us to see that these emotions that we have going on, like people say, when someone is grieving, the one thing that upsets me more than anything else is when a person acts like people have a timeline to grieve.
Mm.
That burns my ever loving butt. It upsets me like nothing else. You don't know the nature of a relationship between people and whomever may have transitioned on.
Mhm.
Whether it was a positive relationship or whether it was a negative, whether it was toxic. You don't have the right to tell a person how to grieve and how long to grieve because they have to process through what all of the emotions that we have just turned around and dealt with.
I got one for you.
I'm listening.
It don't even have to be that person transitioned on.
Facts. Well, they
Because
transition, maybe
they
not in death.
right. You transitioned on to the afterlife.
Right.
But it could be the morning of a relationship. Well, they are relationships,
Mhm.
whether it's, eros, agape, whatever. They are relationships. So it can be just the simple, and it doesn't have to be because somebody left somebody else or somebody chose to, cut ties with somebody else. It could be what
It doesn't have to
do.
end. It doesn't have to end on a negative. Right.
It don't have to
Sometimes
be
people just grow in different directions.
Yes.
Look
Absolutely.
at, because when you look at trees, no branch just goes straight up. Even the actual base of the tree, the center part of the tree, we're not talking about the branches. Even that is not completely straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
None of the branches are completely straight.
Mm-hmm. Ever.
None of them. So there are things that are going to twist and turn and like you were saying, when those relationships grow, and that's the way I look at it, because even in pain you're growing.
Yes. Yes.
You may not understand the area you're growing in at that time.
Yes.
But even through pain we grow.
Mm-hmm.
Butterflies hurt when they bust through the cocoon. If plants had feelings, and I'm sure they probably do,
have some sensation.
Right. Because if they can give us music, they have some type of sensation.
Mm-hmm.
When they're busting through that dirt or the crack in that sidewalk or wherever they're growing from, that hurts. And it's only after they get past the top end that they allow their leaves and that flower to open up and expose itself, the most vulnerable parts of itself. It's after they have gone through that painful part.
That growth.
Mm-hmm.
That transition.
Because as long as a butterfly is living as a caterpillar, it's not as, it's small, but it's not as vulnerable because a butterfly's wing is much more vulnerable than the exterior of the caterpillar.
Okay.
And then the cocoon.
Yeah. The chrysalis, yeah. Absolutely.
So to come through, and if that butterfly wing gets damaged in the process of coming out,
you won't survive.
So we need to, okay, let's see. Hello, Mr. Justin. How are you today?
Hey.
Then we've got all safe and cozy in that cocoon, right? It's like I'm learning to stop and pay attention. Sometimes the reason that we quote unquote I stay so busy is not to have to stop and pay. Girl, stop! Why you talking about me? And why you pointing? Look, why you talking about
But
me?
I can't say that, because we throw stuff at you. Would be like, hey, um, but I know the job that I have now that I love my job most days. Um,
Oh, man.
but in especially in the beginning, um, it was, I was angry, I was hurting, I was woo baby, and just dealing. And so I'm a workaholic anyway. But to then just turn around and just pour my everything, one, because I believe in the company that I work for and what we do, but two, because it meant that I didn't have to stop and process what was
Mm.
going on around me.
Mm.
My job allows me to give back, to help, to, to try to keep people alive, who are suffering as a result of COVID. But in pouring myself into that, I didn't have to process all those people that we lost and all that hurt. I had to process that because it was one of those things I put down the back burner. I'll come back to that. I
Mm-hmm.
got to focus on that. I'll come back to that. So,
And unfortunately, we've all had to kind of do that throughout the last year and a half.
yeah.
Unfortunately, unfortunately. Um, but the next couple of things that I want to share, and then we're going to get close to wrapping things up. It says,
Stop sleeping on what the hell you bring to the table.
say that one more again.
Stop sleeping on what the hell you bring to the table. While you are doing the work, oh my God, really, I just said this. While you are doing the work because you love it and love who you serve, you better start noting the receipts of your work at the same damn time. Did I not literally just speak on that? And I hadn't seen these slides. Like I'm reading them, like I hadn't seen these slides before. Okay, so you just set me up. It's okay. It's okay. I love you. You set me up. It's okay.
I do love you.
I know.
But, that also busts me in my face because I'm always, and all of you are always pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. Um, you know, it's one of those deals where you find yourself doing, and you don't really take into account what I'm notorious for sharing everybody else's receipts and they're good and what they do. And I'm notorious for kind of just sitting on my laurels. I'm notorious for that. But
Pushing people, elevating people, providing the pathway and the highway for them to excel,
mhm,
but still dimming her own light.
right. It says what?
They see your receipts too, while you may or may not even realize the impact you've concretely made.
Sometimes on our jobs, we are irreplaceable and don't realize it.
Mm.
Sometimes we are put in uncomfortable positions that we really don't want because we are the best person for that job, whether we want it or not. I'm not throwing shade. I'm not, because I understand your particular situation. But it's not because you aren't qualified. It's not because you don't know that you can't handle the situation, because you excel in whatever you decide to do.
Mhm.
You don't want to, because you don't want to kill one of the employees. That's all that is. Well, I'm let you don't call space back.
Anger, frustration.
But they have their place.
They do. They're
And then-
messengers that I don't need to be doing all that other stuff over there.
But see, they're also signs that in a particular position that we may be in, we're able to delegate. So we don't have to deal with the frustration. We don't have to deal with the anger. We don't have to deal with all the petty betties. We don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
We don't have to. And even though, look, we're having a whole conversation in the midst of a conversation, and we're sorry, but it just fits.
Yeah.
It
And
just
sometimes,
happens to fit.
we do these shows, and a lot we don't. I mean, because I don't work at home, and
They're
because
not
she's home.
scripted.
Yeah, they're not scripted, and so she'll find stuff. So like everything that I'm reading to you, I've not seen or read. She's not sent it to me. So like I said, so sometimes and they're just falling into the conversation, but also conversations y'all don't know about.
Mm-hmm. And it says the last one says, as soon as you wake up and realize your value. Now, see, a lot of times the stuff that we share busts us in our face first before it ever makes it. Kind of like the preacher on Sunday morning. It's like they got to get it first, and it busts them in their face before they share it.
And bust you in yours.
Right.
Mhm.
It says, but as soon as you wake up and realize your value, your professional life will never be the same. I remember us having a conversation with one of our little sisters, and it was quite enlightening. And we're going to go through one final list of things. Um, and we're going through these lists, and we're not dwelling on the negatives of being a superwoman. What we're doing is we're giving you alternative ways to view your awesomeness. That's what we're doing. We're giving you alternative ways, because everybody tries to make being a superwoman a bad thing. And it's not, because not everybody is equipped to handle family, work, the stressors of life.
Mm-hmm.
Being a caregiver while in the midst of dealing with helping so many other people and neglecting self.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that people are getting to the point now where they're realizing I've got to take care of me in order to more effectively be the best me for you. Mm-hmm. And when I say for you, I'm talking about the world in general.
Absolutely.
It's like, what did she say? She was like, D, I do that too. I had to pull back some because I noticed that some I have pushed and applauded do not return the favor, even when you're doing a good or a great thing. Yes, and it is hard for me to promote myself. I'm really a push others from the back kind of person. But if I don't promote me, who will? See, but I get it, and it's so hard for me though.
I know.
I do the work, people see the work, people compliment the work, people say whatever, and it's like, oh, who did that? Okay, I keep it moving. I don't say a word, and then
I'll be like, she did it,
and then
and she can do this and 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 this too.
And then, but I'll put myself in a, and I keep myself behind the scenes. Like even though I play the organ, I always say if the organ could be at the back of the church, I'd be satisfied.
This is true.
I would be satisfied. I don't have to be seen. I prefer not to be seen.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. But the final list that we're going to go through, and we're in really good time, we're gonna get out of here because we are actually kind of on time today.
Aha.
It says the 10 things you can say yes to today.
Today.
And I want you all to hear these things. And then we're going to say, Sayonara, we love y'all.
I'm tired.
Right. The first one is
Say yes to spending time doing nothing at all
and
not
not feeling bad about it.
Listen, I'm guilty of it. You guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. Like
Say
sleeping
yes.
in, just sleeping in. Like I will wake up because we're up. She's up way before me, but I'm up at like 5:30 in the morning. And so like on a day off or on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I'm sleeping till 7 or God forbid 8 o'clock, and I'm like, oh my God, I've wasted so much time. I should have been up and I should have just been, or if I just decide to take a day, like it is so hard for me to just take a day and just sit and watch movies or just sit and read a book. Like, and even when I'm doing it, I'm multitasking. So that is one of those where it's just like, yeah, that's not a.
Yeah. And you should not feel bad about it. Next, say yes to spending more time with the people who energize you.
But we
The
live in the same
people.
house.
Yeah, but there are other people who feed us, like the
Sure.
Woodards.
Yeah.
We enjoy laughing and cutting up with them because they are amazing people.
Yes, they are.
Just because they are just hilarious. Online interactions. When we're having like those hilarious threads, like with Beatrice and my twin Demetra and Maria and Kim and Pam. When we're having these different conversations and we're just laughing and just cutting up,
Mm-hmm.
the laughter feeds
Our
so
soul.
many parts of us.
Yeah. Feed your soul.
Right, right. It's like say yes to scheduling time to do something you enjoy, even if it's small. You like to color,
I do. It's so hard to just sit
but
still and
see,
do it.
when you do it, you come down. You can have one of the most frustrating days,
Mm-hmm.
but when you just pull out your color pencils and your book and just decompress,
Draw, yeah.
don't think about what you're doing. You just And even if you do whatever on your phone app, but especially when you take that hard color pencil and your actual physical book, it was like you just completely decompress and you relax because that is something that you're very artistic, you're very creative. So it's like that feeds you.
She says the family trait. She likes the color as well. I didn't know that, Kate. Yeah. Just the color and music.
Look, it's hard for me to take a day off from work without having plans. That's my fault.
Look, I was off yesterday because I didn't feel good. I was still working.
Right. And that is a family trait. I love to color as well. Okay, that's what you were just saying.
Yeah.
The next thing you can say yes to is say yes to not having an explanation for why you're saying no to something. If you say no, the answer is no. I don't have to explain to you why I'm saying no. No is a complete sentence all by itself. And whatever that reason is, I know it, and that's enough. Maybe I just don't have a want to.
I'm not good at that.
Yes, for me. Yes, for you, Kiana. Yes, for you. It's like this next one says, say yes to doing little things that would make your childhood self filled with joy. Then say yes to doing things that would make your 90-year-old self smile. We're not 90 yet. We've been a child. We know the things that we enjoy. So find that happy medium.
I don't remember what I enjoyed as a child.
Did you like coloring as a child?
No.
Did you like pulling the heads off Barbie dolls? Did you like playing with dolls? Did you like doing hair?
No.
Me either. I was tomboy. I liked getting out there playing.
I read books.
So you read all the time.
I read all the time. Yeah, I read books. I was not one of those.
I was one of those give me an encyclopedia type of kids.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and I would for real read through the encyclopedia.
Research, reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
And then just like what two of you just said, say yes to an extra hour of sleep.
So nice.
Say yes to an extra hour of sleep. Say yes to much needed time off without planning. Without having your day planned. That does not include laundry. That does not include let me change my sheets. When you take a day, now if you do those things, fine.
Okay.
But don't take a day off to work. It's like I am taking this day, and whatever I do during the course of this day is just what I do. We always have a to-do list.
Look, you see me, I'm looking at you, I'm like,
But we always have a to-do list.
Yeah.
And there are days, and she will tell you, I have intentionally just kept my feet under the cover, knowing good and bad blasted well I had stuff I needed to do. But I was like, I'm not doing anything.
She'll pick up the computer 11 times and put it back down.
Yeah, I'll pick it up. I'm not doing it. Nope, I'm not. Not today.
I'm trying to think of the last time no.
Just be intentional in not doing anything. So whatever you end up doing during the course of that day, that was what it just let it be.
Yeah, I can tell you the last time I did that.
Try it sometime. And say yes to just seeing where the present moment in a quiet space leads you.
To a nap, daggone it.
Oh, when I get quiet after this, I'm not taking a nap. I'm going to sleep. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I didn't sleep good last night.
And then finally, say yes to continuing to become who you were meant to be, regardless of the pressures you feel from the world. And I'm going to say that again. Say yes to continuing to become who you were meant to be, regardless of the pressures you feel from the world.
I got one more thing you should say yes to. You should say yes to cutting whatever ties you need to that may be poisoning your spirit, or that may be making you feel in a negative way. And we've talked about our emotions, but I mean, if it is something that truly is a negative in your spirit, and it's not a negative just because you don't choose to process it, but it is something that is truly a poison, toxic, something that is toxic in your life, say yes to cutting that string.
Mm-hmm. And that goes to the very last thing that I was going to say tonight. Stop calling assertive Black women aggressive. And this is for everybody other than us. Take accountability for your fragility instead of expecting our silence. We are
Tired.
tired.
We's tired. I'm gonna need you to send that one to me though, because I'm gonna put this part. I'm done putting that up in my office.
It's like, stop calling assertive Black women aggressive. Take accountability for your fragility instead of expecting our silence. We are entitled to speak. We are entitled to our feelings. And it is not our fault if you don't have a backbone to handle our strength.
I like how you said that, because you know that wasn't what they went through my head.
It's not our fault. And on that note, I'm going to say,
She's like, okay.
I have enjoyed this show.
I have to. I needed this one.
I have enjoyed tonight's show. I've enjoyed tonight's show.
Yeah.
Immensely. And I am so thankful for all of the strong women and the men who are not intimidated to come on a show with strong women and share.
And to the men that love us.
Yes, Lord, because yes, Lord.
Listen.
Yes, Lord.
Listen. Be like, if you don't listen to crazy ass, then I love you, baby. Be strong. Go out there, conquer the world, do whatever you got to do, but just leave it at the door, and I got you when you come in the house.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. So
all day,
to
every
them
day.
as well.
But we love you all. Cannot wait until next week. I'm going to encourage each of you to patronize and check out our sponsor. You're going to get the chance to see the information, but we've got, um, 3 sponsors, 3 companies, and you are welcome to become a sponsor. But we've got Not So Vanilla Weddings, and you see, just look up Not So Vanilla Weddings on Facebook. We have Indiana People of Color Social Club, which is a phenomenal new organization that feeds the whole person, regardless of your sexual orientation, regardless of your belief system. They feed the whole person. There's no body shaming, there's none of that foolery. It's like they teach you how to love all of you. I love that organization.
Yeah.
And then the one that likes to make me nice and chunky and makes me appreciate Indiana People of Color embracing the nice round body is Fetishized Confections. Because when I tell you the desserts, the tea cakes, the chocolate, all that stuff be good.
She's got spiked cake pops now.
Guud. Good.
She
Good.
has alcoholic cake pops.
I mean, phenomenal businesses. So I'm asking you all to go and like the pages, visit the website, order, because I promise you, if you get the tea cakes, you will not be disappointed. And she has the gluten-free.
She does.
Options as well. So
she has gluten-free and vegan.
And vegan, yes. So for those of you that are truly vegan, she has everybody covered.
Mm-hmm.
So fall in there. I promise you won't be disappointed. And we love you, and we will see you all next week on this thing called life. Take care, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.